Xbox only cares about rich people. Xbox just announced that they are going to raise the prices of their Game Pass subscription, specifically the Ultimate tier, which is the only tier that really matters because the other tiers are garbage. But we'll go through those too. So to begin with, they have something called the Essential tier. That's the lowest tier. And let me tell you something, there is nothing essential in this tier. You're just handing over $10 a month to Microsoft for no reason. You get unlimited cloud gaming. Okay, that really is not going to come in handy for most people. Nobody really cares that much about cloud gaming, even though Microsoft thinks that's the future. You also get online console multiplayer, which in 2025, you still have to pay a company for online multiplayer. That is embarrassing. When PC players, they just get to connect to each other for free. So you're getting ripped off even in the lowest tier. Okay? Then you have something called Game Pass Premium. So you get 200 plus games to play with. We don't know what kind of games those are. They might not be great games. We don't really know, but you get 200 plus games. You get new Xbox published games within a year of launch. See, here's the problem. The whole selling point of Game Pass to begin with was the fact that you would get day one Xbox titles, okay? On the day of the release, they would be in Game Pass and you could play them. So that was the whole selling point. That's why people would always get Game Pass. Like last year, they released Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a game that pretty much everybody loved, and it was available on Game Pass day one. So now they're saying in the premium tier, it's within a year of launch, and that doesn't include Call of Duty. So there's a little asterisk there. So we don't really know what's going to be going on with Call of Duty in the future in relation to Game Pass, because Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was released on Game Pass day one last year. What about Call of Duty Black Ops 7? Who knows? But it's certainly not going to be available on day one in the premium tier. So again, they tout their cloud gaming thing again. Fine. And, online console multiplayer. Okay, great. So basically you're paying $5 extra a month so that you can get some new games within a year. Okay, that also sounds like a ripoff. That's $15 a month. Now we get to the one that everybody's been waiting for. So Game Pass Ultimate. Now in the past, this was really only worth it when it was, cheap. But, eventually they raised the price last year to $20 a month. And that's when people started questioning, well, is it really worth $20 a month? I mean, you get cloud gaming, you get the Xbox titles on day one, you get other random indie games on day one. And sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. So like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, people loved it. The Oblivion Remaster, people love that. Claire Obscura, Expedition 33, that was an indie title. Widely heralded as one of the greatest games ever made, greatest games of the year. And yes, it was available on Game Pass day one. So they've done some good stuff with that. But here's the thing. This tier is going from $20 a month, and people were already, angry about that when they raised it to $20 a month last year. Well, guess what? Now it's going to $30 a month here in America. Okay. Let me tell you something about subscriptions. You see, they're getting more and more expensive all the time. And then there's these subscriptions where they charge you an amount that just seems so overly ridiculous that you can't help but laugh. So, for example, ESPN here in America, you got to pay $30 a month. Their new subscription service that just came out. Yeah, you get access to pretty much all the sports you could possibly imagine, and pro wrestling too. But you know what? $30 a month is a lot of money for a subscription service that's really only providing you with a single product. So for ESPN, it's pretty much only providing you with sports. Here with Xbox Game Pass, $30 a month, it gets you games, but it doesn't necessarily get you the best games. And one thing I've noticed, especially since I used to be a Game Pass subscriber and then canceled it, it's that you don't really get the best games. I mean, they do have some classic games. in their catalog that people love, like Gears of War, for example, from a long time ago. You get Gears of War 1, 2, 3. That's always going to be in Game Pass because Xbox owns that. And you got the Halo games. And you get other stuff too, but it's like when it comes to newer games and stuff stuff that people's interested in, like third-party titles like Yakuza and Like a Dragon, right? Those aren't on the service anymore. They were on the service, all of them, all the Yakuza games, and they're gone. They were taken away earlier this year. And that's when I started realizing, oh, they'll slip in some cool games, but they're probably going to take them away at some point. So, for example, Grand Theft Auto 5 is on the service, but they're probably going to take it away at some point. It used to be on the service. They took it away. Then they brought it back. Probably going to take it away again. And you're paying all this money, and you're not going to own any of these games. So it's kind of like you're paying an exorbitant amount of money now. $30 a month. That is $360 a year. That's crazy. Okay? Just to give you an idea of how crazy that is, last year on Black Friday, you could have gotten a $250 Xbox Series S, the console itself. Now, this subscription service is more expensive than that. I mean, you could pretty much almost buy an Xbox Series S console for the price of Game Pass for a year now. The Xbox Game Pass is $360, and the Xbox Series S 512 gigabytes will be going up in price in a few days, and it will be $400, which, by the way, that console is not worth $400. You shouldn't buy that either. And you shouldn't buy any of these Game Pass tiers because it's all a ripoff. I have a suggestion for everybody. You can do what I did, okay? So I used to have Game Pass before I even had an Xbox console because they had the, you could play it on your computer, various games on the Game Pass, plus games that you own, you could stream it through the cloud. So I had WWE 2K24, didn't even have a console, but I could play it through my computer because of Xbox Game Pass and their cloud gaming. So that was kind of cool. And like I said, they used to have some really cool games on this service. And then I realized, you know what? It's $20 a month, and they're announcing that they're taking the Yakuza games away, and other games are being taken away, and I'm like, I'm good. I could buy a lot of the coolest games on Game Pass and own them forever and not have to pay this constant 30, well, before it was 20, now it's 30 a month. Like, I don't have to do that. You can just buy so many games that are on sale on the Xbox Microsoft Store. They have sales all the time. I got UFC 5 Ultimate Edition for $10. The retail price is $100. I just bought Street Fighter 4 from the Xbox 360 generation for $3 and something cents the other day. And that's the other good thing about Xbox. So I'll say some positive stuff. I'm not a hater. I actually have an Xbox Series X console that I got on sale last year for a price that is much cheaper than what it's selling for today. Literally like $200 cheaper. So you can get a lot of original Xbox games and original Xbox 360 games on the Microsoft Store for a very low price. I mean, I just look at my wish list right now. You can get Time Splitters 2 for $10. You can get Dead to Rights for $10. There's so many games from many, many years ago that you can get, and there's really no reason to have Game Pass when you can buy all these older games and just create your own little Game Pass for your console, which is what I did. I have tons and tons of games that I bought for very low prices, and I own them. They're digital, so technically I only have a license to the game, so technically I don't own them, I guess. But it's certainly more permanent than a subscription service, because on a subscription service, you're definitely not going to have access to anything if you cancel the service, okay? But at least I have access to these games digitally for however long they're available, hopefully forever. And that's what I recommend people do. Just buy a bunch of cheap games and create your own little Game Pass library, and you can just play it that way. And then you don't have to worry about forking over cash to a soulless corporation for no reason. So there's no reason, because some of the best games, over the past 20 years, they're so cheap to buy when they're on sale. Like I said, I got the Batman Arkham trilogy for like $6. Okay. People consider those to be some of the best games ever made. I got Gears of War 1 for, I think, $12. Again, so many games you can buy right now, and you don't have to give Microsoft $360 a year. And again, nobody should be buying Xbox consoles right now. They're so expensive for consoles that came out 5 years ago. Nobody should be paying for Xbox Game Pass at this point. This is a slap in the face to every consumer. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Xbox only cares about rich people. They just released, well, actually, they're about to release a $1,000 PC gaming handheld called the Xbox ROG Ally X. Okay, they are just going to take the money of whatever fools are willing to pay for stuff like that. And I mean, I guess I really shouldn't insult those people, but I kind of should, because when you buy a $1,000 Xbox ROG Ally X, you're giving the green light to Xbox and Microsoft to keep doing this kind of stuff and keep, raising the price of Game Pass and selling their consoles for ridiculous prices. A 2 terabyte Xbox Series X will be $800 a few days from now. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Gaming is turning into a rich person's hobby, and I think we should all just play whatever's in our backlog. Like I said, create your own little library of games, play with those, and forget about these people. Thank you.